Hey everyone, Bakira here, and I'm doing a video on the behalf of WikiModder84, or should I say I'm doing it for him. He wanted me to do a video on safe reactor usage for Industrialcraft 2. Now I'm pretty sure I have all the same mods that his server has, so pretty much all this should be pretty much plug and play. So let me get started. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is reactor containment. Let me just first off start saying that one layer of reinforced stone will not conveniently or efficiently hold back a reactor explosion, and it will still cause a lot of environmental damage. However, I have did some testing and I found the best method that I have found so far that will absolutely minimize the damage. Alright, I'm just going to do this right here. Just give you a quick example. If you take one layer of reinforced stone, for example, this will be the outside wall right here. In the middle, put obsidian, which some of you know that obsidian was nerfed for an Industrialcraft reactors, so if you use obsidian alone, it will blow it to bits. However, if you take another layer and sandwich it in, this will cause the least amount of environmental damage. In fact, I've had some accidents up here and it's just blown out a few blocks. But if it does explode, you're still prone to radiation poison, which I'm sure you know what will happen if that happens. Alright, so let me just get inside here and I'll talk about the cooling. Your containment build doesn't have to be as complex as this. It can be simple. I just like going big. This has been a little project of mine for a while. But this is my reactor room. It's pretty simple, at least I think. But it holds 8 reactors, which I'll get into the setup of them in a minute. Just ignore the wiring. I've been doing some rewiring on it for a different setup. So let's get started as far as the whole setup goes. On the cooling part of it, you don't have to do it exactly like this, but this is immersed. All these reactors are immersed in water. This will help keep the heat of your hull down and prevent a meltdown. If I go over here, I deliberately put this wire down here to show you. If you put wire down, it does take away a block of water, but it's still more than enough water to keep your reactor cool. The setup, there's many types of setups you can do for a reactor. There's many right ways, but there's also many wrong ways to doing it. So in other words, there's 1,000 ways to get a high output reactor, and there's many ways to blow a huge crater in the ground. So far I find that this setup works best. This setup works best for high output, which it puts out 720 EUs a tick each. So yeah, that's 5,760 total, which if you're going to do something this big, you're going to have to do a whole lot of work to keep from burning up your wires. But as far as the setup goes, you got 6 quad core uranium cells, followed by heat vents, overclocked heat vents, component heat exchangers, so on and so forth. The reason I'm keeping this up is just so you can use it yourself. I cannot take credit for this though, because a lot of it I used off of a site which I do not have the link to. For some reason I tried pulling it up and it won't come up now. But that pretty much covers it on the setup. When you're wanting to do an experiment with a new setup, there's also a calculator out there. I think it's called like a Reactor setup calculator. I forgot the author of that program, but it's a applet. and it can come in handy when you're wanting to experiment to see how it performs before you actually try it. Okay, next thing I'm going to get into, but before I do not recommend an open setup like this where you can easily fall into, and if you're in survival mode it's kind of you won't be able to get out unless you start putting blocks up. But that's the reason why I have this over here. If you cover it up and put a trap door, it can keep you from accidentally falling inside of it, and you can still load everything up whenever you need to put your reactor or uranium back in. Also, another thing before I go on is when you put new uranium in with this setup, turn off your reactors before you do so, because if you don't, the one quad core of uranium, by the time you set it up, it's going to heat up your hull and it's going to explode. So make sure you turn it off before you replenish anything inside of it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be getting into is sensors, which that's these right here. You got remote sensor kits, counter sensor kits, energy sensor kits. But right now we're just going to be concentrating on the remote sensor kit. This will allow you to use remote thermal monitors and also information panels, which I'll show you downstairs here in just a minute. To use them, you just look down to your reactor and right click, which I already have one in there, so I'm not going to click it. And it'll give you a remote sensor card, which you put into your remote thermal kit or your information board. Yes, I did just fall out of the floor. I did this where it's a little bit easier to record since I'm in game mode 0. But here is my information room. It's still under construction. These big boards you see in here is the information boards. You can make them as big as you want. There's two types to them. You got the I call it the core part of it, then you can actually expand the screen. Of course, you can give it a name, like this is Reactor 2. That T's there for the temperature, which it's off right now, so the temperature is 0. The maximum heat, which is the maximum heat it can take before it explodes, which is 10,000 heat units. The melting point, which is where water evaporates and ice melts, is 8,500. The output, which is how much your reactor is putting out, and the remaining cycle time you have, which each cycle time, I believe, like 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours 44 minutes. That's about what all of them that is. No, 46. My bad. But over here you have your thermal monitors. When you turn them on, I have them hooked up to wireless redstone right here. And upstairs is a transformer, which you can also use to turn on and off the power to keep from power drainage. But turn this on, you see the screen turns white, that means they're powered up. Over here is more wireless redstone. Of course, I have them marked here. And the first 4 is the only ones I have wired up, so let's turn on these. I got a little bit of a glitch. Hold on a minute. Let's see if that done it. Yeah, that done it. So there you go. I just turned them on. There goes the temperature right now. It's starting to heat up a little bit, and it will reflect over there. As you see, this bar starts going up as it heats up, and you have a predetermined setting you put it on. If you're very far from your reactor, you need a range upgrade, and there is that location card I was talking about earlier. So you can set this up to redline anytime you want it to, and you can also use the industrial howler alarm or industrial alarm or howler alarm to put up here to alert you in case of anything is going wrong. As far as the information board, temperature is heating up to 84, the reactor is on, all that stays the same up there, and it's putting out 720 EUs a tick. And down here is your timer right here. which is basically, well, as I said before, when this runs out, you know, it's time to change out your uranium and switch out all that stuff. So, you know, it's here. Everything's looking good. Let's see, am I missing anything? Yeah, these monitors can come in handy if they're used right. I mean, they can tell you everything from they can even they come in handy if you're kind of weary of your system, or if you think somebody may have griefed them or anything like that, and you can keep a close eye on them in case if anything goes wrong. You know, I can just run over here and switch them off real quick and it instantly turns them off, just like so. See, I turned off reactor 7 right there. It instantly turns it off. So that's pretty much covers everything right now. If need be, I'll get into the wiring setups and all that, and things you can do to pimp out your reactor and all that. But I really hope this helps you guys with the basics. And if you have any questions, just message me or ask Wacky Modder, and I'll do a video for them too. So hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.